Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are starting with our panel discussion, that is mistakes and milestones, lessons from the startup world. And we have an amazing people over here who will be discussing some amazing facts. And I hope I'm excited, as well as you guys are must be the same, with the same vision and excitement, hoping to look a lot from them. Now we would like to welcome our today's guest.
So with that, I'd like to introduce all with our today's guest. First of all, we have our moderator, Mr. Mahavir Mutha, sir, IT Director, Bird Division. Mr. Nitish Rai, Founder and CEO, Fright Fox. Paula McLean, CEO and Co-Founder, Bhardeepa. Dr. Anupama Singh, CEO, Sequoia Insilco Private Limited. Vijay Chatterjee, sir, CTO and Co-Founder, Zoop One. Devyani Pava, Founder, DP Media House. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause for them.
So, really good to have all of you here. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. So, we'll start with panel. So, probably, how many of you are kind of aspiring entrepreneurs or already entrepreneurs here? 1, 2, 3, very few. Rest are developers? No? Teachers? Farmers? How many would like to know about these panelists? Or maybe at least have heard about this? Wow, great. Cool. So we'll not waste much time. We'll start the discussion. We have some interesting questions for panel. So maybe we'll start with Anupama. So Anupama leads the AI health tech company actually. So as introduction was given to you, all of you. So maybe we'll start with Anupama. Anupama just wanted, so can we have mics?
Hello.
Yeah. So just would like to maybe understand what problem statement you are trying to solve about your company and the journey.
Since by my training, I am a PhD in theoretical biology, computational biology, genomics, etc., blah, blah, blah. So I was aware of this machine learning, deep learning during my post-graduations and PhD days. And because of a kind of good or bad turn in my life, I got interested and inclined for mental health. So I really, at that time, I thought I will be kind of boiling the ocean and I will do everything possible. But when I started doing things, I thought, I mean, we lack the basic thing, especially in context with India, regarding brain and mental health. So I thought of developing this whole application around neurobiopsychiatry. That means it has 3 dimensions of biology, neurology, and psychiatry, all 3. Because we in India, or otherwise, we have this kind of approach to deal these things differently. So we raised fund initially through GCE, Grand Chal India Award, Exploration Award, and we bootstrapped, and now we have validated 3 models, deep learning models with Ramanaloya Hospital in Delhi, and now we are in a position to do pilot with 5 hospitals, and one of them is the highest footfall hospital in Delhi. And we have already filed patent in machine learning, deep learning architecture, and we are good to go. So maybe if some of us is trying to, get into this kind of stream, they are most welcome.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So maybe, see, you studied or probably your maybe major things were into biology, right?
No, it's basically all the vertical is health. That's it.
Health, okay.
There is nothing biology in here because usually I get CVs from my known. They are biology, PhD and all, but I'm so sorry, there's nothing biology here in my venture. But the application and vertical is biology. So it's all deep learning applications, data-driven models, which we build from scratch. We use all open source things. And then application is in biology. So we will be basically assisting doctors. What we are trying to build is specialty agnostic. So we will be adding a psychiatry dimension in any of the hospital, in any of the clinician who can do that, who is actually a practicing person.
So you work closely with doctors, right? So, so basically the industry or study says that doctors are very good with handling or using advanced hardware equipments, but not very keen to use softwares or maybe even rather AI softwares. So how's your
Yeah.
experience? Basically, do they like to use software? Because personally, even I and a lot of other people has faced the challenge where we kind of treat or probably we promote something to doctors and they are still okay with a manual or maybe kind of physical prescription or even documentation. How's your experience on that?
First of all, things I have noticed in last several years is electronic health records are coming up. People now doctors are printing their prescriptions. So some kind of acceptance is there, some kind of software acceptance is there, and primarily it came because so many companies were trying to get them on board with the promise of increasing reach and business, and ultimately doctors have been trained, obviously to serve, but they are very much particular about being paid well. So I had a lot of problem to convince people that something which can work without any tangible, appliance. And every time I was suggested to come up with some kind of tool, which you can use it. So, but now I have noticed that. See, there is positives why doctors take hardware easily and they use it easily, because it is visible, and patient also notice that the particular doctor is having the most advanced appliances, and it is tangible. You can rely more on something which is visible. And for a technology which you don't understand, looks like a black box to you, and you are saying that it is taking half of your job, so it's like already there is inhibition. But since by and large everybody now knows about AI, and so I usually, when I talk to doctors, I simply say this is not replacing you, this is not even imitating you, it is giving you an opportunity to increase the heal part of what you're doing. Let the drudgery, all those routine things and data-driven information processing, assign it to some kind of assistant, which is AI. So now I can see there are a lot of acceptances there, and but the fall side is the acceptance is so much that anybody who claims that he's having AI, people listen. So there is another swing, the other amplitude is also there. But yes, there is a lot of inhibition, and to actually curb that inhibition, I'd just like to use this forum that we are going to have an international conference. Mainly India will be participating in this, for I hope so, for healthcare in AI, in which I'm trying to call 4 people who are warring each other, kind of distrust. So we are trying to resolve the distrust, not conversing companies per se. So I think in new curriculum, there should be some kind of training to have open mind, or to have a judgmental mind, or evaluation criteria to of such kind of technology which is coming up. While they come to market and they start practicing, they should have fair enough about of idea what AI is and how it can hamper this. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll request people standing behind, they can take a seat. There are space available. So please come ahead and sit. And let's close the door. So please come ahead. Please settle down. So we'll move forward with Devyani. So Devyani, would you like to kind of say something basically about DP Media House, basically how your journey started with the DP?
So firstly, I would like to thank you for the kind invitation this year and last year. It's an amazing opportunity to be speaking at, Pune's largest tech fest. So it's an absolute honor for me. And thank you so much for everybody who's come here and they are spending time and their presence to listen to us. So that also means a lot to me. So thank you so much to everybody, because I'm sure that all of you are so talented and there's so much to learn from all of you also. So thank you so much to you also. I started DP House of Media in 2017. It is a branding, marketing, and design company. The idea behind that was I was studying in London, and there's this whole idea about minimalism and how you can inculcate design in every aspect of tiniest bits of, like tiniest bits of things, everything around you is design. So I came with that inspiration and I wanted to do everything around branding and marketing and design. But as you all know that AI has come in and everything is moving. You've seen Canva, you've seen a lot of technology, Chat GPT. There's these many tools which have come which automize the entire system for you in terms of design. So how do you stay relevant in that? So currently at DP House of Media, we are not just a design and branding company, but we also inculcate audio visuals and we mix both of these medias and create branding campaigns, create personal brands for clients, celebrities, for companies like Java Motorcycle, where they can have their outreach across India. That's what we are doing right now. And alongside that, I also have a company called Forsapio, which is extensively working on creating personal brands using my experience in branding and design over the years. And it is targeted towards semi-urban people and trying to bridge the communication gap via personal brands in the rural aspect, in the semi-urban aspect. And we are trying to kind of create a platform where every voice is heard and how they can effectively create their own personal brand on various platforms which are enabled by AI now. So that's what we are doing with both of the companies.
So when you said about AI, so do you see AI as a complementary thing or it's a competition to your business? Maybe because you might have seen most of the things or probably a content for that matter, it is getting generated through AI right now, nowadays.
AI initially, as an entrepreneur, when you saw the shift during COVID, that everything shifted online, it was hard to believe that your clients were just dropping out left, right, and center because everything was moving so fast as a technology. And for a startup which is thriving on brand collabs, brand deals, or everything, and then that dropping in, AI coming in, Canva-like tools coming in, of course, it's a big shock for you when you're trying to adapt to it. But then what I've realized is that if you don't move, if you're thinking that I am the right person over here and you don't adapt, you are going to eventually fail. So you can complement with AI, right? It can be a team member. Possibly it can kind of reduce the team size and do more effective stuff for you, and then kind of create an effective model for your client. So it's, as long as the work is done, things are going to go smooth for you.
Cool. So it's a complementary
It is
thing
a
for your
complementary
business.
thing, yes.
Good to know. There is a scope for all of us.
Absolutely.
So moving next to Paula. Kashi आहेस Paula?
मस्त आहे मी मस्त आहे मज्जा आहे
Okay. So Paula, how many of you know she's from Canada? Wow. How many of you follow her? A lot of people know. You should start following.
Some know but don't follow. That's okay though. I'm not offended.
Okay. So Paula, just would like to understand basically the strategy or the brain behind how you build the personal brand, basically how you started with that and now your journey.
It's something I learned late in the game actually. When we started our parent company of Baripa, Gulbadan Talkies, we were a video production company. And I actually didn't have any personal social media account apart from Facebook. And Sarang and Anusha, my co-founders, they were saying, Paula, you should get on Instagram. It's the new Facebook. It's really cool. So I said, you know what? I'm not really a social media person. I'm going to start Instagram for our company. And I made an Instagram page for Gulbadan Talkies. And we did nothing with it. Only after we started Bharipa, I realized that, hey, you know, maybe I should have a personal Instagram account. And I started posting, started building an image there. And I quickly realized that when it comes to work, I love to use social media and branding and whatnot as a tool. But it's also important to have your brand coming the right way in the right place and time. And Divyani and I had a chat about this about a year ago at a Forcepio event. And one of the things I sort of learned in the process was that Paula McGlynn has multiple different brands. So I've got Dave Paula, which is my Instagram. That's more my fun personality side. It's actually not very personal. It's more, you know, the content we make, things I want to show the world, show the public. And then I've got my LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn is Paula the entrepreneur. Paula, the one who runs the business, who sends the emails, who does the research and all of that. And that's where I do a lot of my business networking. And being able to split them up has given me a lot of freedom and takes a lot of pressure off, because one thing we learned with Bharipa, and I learned it for the business first and then for myself later, for Bharipa, we started off as a Marathi entertainment YouTube channel. The goal was to build an audience and then use that branding to make more stuff in Marathi, you know, make films, make web series, do music. And Bharipa was built as an entertainment brand, but we wanted to have multiple brands. So we also started Vishay Khol, that was for politics and social awareness. And we started Bhatupa, which is for food and travel. The reason why we could start multiple brands is because we knew not everyone is going to like everything we do all in the same place. And online, it's free to have multiple accounts. So if you feel like you have multiple things that you're interested in, you want to start putting yourself out there and have multiple different sides to yourself. Like if you want to have a YouTube channel for yoga, but you also have your business as an architect. I was just chatting with one of our organizers from the team that you know, sometimes it makes sense if you split them up. You know, you have your architecture business side, and then you can have your YouTube channel for yoga side, but don't mix them up. It's always good to keep them separate so that your audiences can also be categorized and separated like that.
Correct. Got it. Really interesting story. So we'll move next to Vijay.
Hi.
Hi, Vijay. So he's the most techie, maybe, yeah, of course, Nitish is also there. So Vijay, would like to understand your product. I guess it's a smart wallet. But when there are already tons of wallets in maybe market, why you thought to build this kind of smart wallet, and what is the unique USP or probably a problem statement you are trying to solve there?
I think before we jump to that, I'll kind of tell you where we come from, right?
Sure.
So we have been a data company. When I say data company, we help other companies get the right data, verify people, onboard them through right sources, right? So we have been doing this for almost 8 years for close to 500 businesses, right? So we have, so this is what we do as B2B, right? And around, I would say 3 years back, we kind of, me and my co-founder Ritesh, we were having a discussion that like every company in our domain is trying to solve this problem from a business point of view, right? What about the end users, right? How do they get visibility to what data is being shared, right? So if I ask you where you have shared your Aadhaar card in last 2 years, no idea, right? So then if we look in India, right, people who are thinking about data governance is only government today, right? A lot of us don't kind of put that at first. So, but what government started doing was they started building multiple products on silos. So there is Aadhaar, then there is account aggregator, then there is NHA that is coming up with your Abha, right? And so there are various layers. So India is moving more towards consent-driven data sharing, right? That the end user should provide a consent, what will be shared, for how much time, why will you use it, right? So they are kind of becoming more aware, right? The government is trying to push for that. But at the end, for end users now, there are 5 platforms that they have to understand, they have to learn, right? So we started building our own wallet, right, which is not a payment wallet, not just a document wallet, but it's more about having your data connected at one place so that when you want to share it, it becomes very easy. Right, so I'll give you a quick example, right? So in Zoop Wallet, you can actually connect your DigiLocker. We are an authorized partner. You can connect Gmail, so we are certified by Google to connect your Gmail also, right? Then now we are going for ABHA integration as well as account aggregator integration, right? So just imagine a scenario where you book kind of a ticket on Make My Trip, right? Your ticket goes to Google Drive. It automatically comes to Google Wallet, get categorized inside travel folder. So we have sorted kind of the part where which data is what, right? The next step for us is simplifying the sharing of that. So now we have opened our system for businesses. So we have built a protocol, or you can say an SDK for them, which is UDI, Unified Data Interfaces, similar to UPI. Where as a user, I can allow what data will be shared with this business, right? And as a business, I can just consume the SDK, and without integrating with multiple these providers from government, I integrate with one. And let's say if you're a user on Zoop Wallet, right? You authenticated the whole transaction once. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you took loan from Bajaj Finserv, right? And you authenticated via Zoop Wallet or our SDK there. You gave them your proof of identity, your Aadhaar card, PAN card, and then you gave them your last 6-month bank statement, right? Your loan got rejected. Then you go to another player, the process can be same, right? So what we have simplified is if that another player is integrated with us, it's one-click process then. Because then your DigiLocker is connected to Zoop Wallet, your Gmail is connected to Zoop Wallet, your account aggregator is connected to Zoop Wallet. For you, it's a one-click loan application, right? And what you get as a user on top of it is a consent-driven framework where you know what is being shared for what purpose, plus you get a log, a share log, so that you can go in the past and see where I have shared my data. And as DPDP is coming into picture, right, you'll be able to recall this information. If I have not got the loan, I have all the rights to tell you that please delete my information. So we are trying to help there. So just trying to stay a step ahead of the curve, what is coming.
Of course.
And trying to build for that. Yeah.
Definitely. It's really interesting and useful.
Thank you.
People are liking it.
Great. I think
It's useful
I'll be very
application.
happy to kind of discuss even after the meet if anyone
Yeah,
is
sure.
interested. In
So all of panelists will be there for some time if you have any queries or questions or probably need to ask something. Maybe even we will get some questions from audience as well. So moving forward to Nitish. So Nitish, you have been into multiple startups so far. Maybe how many of you have heard Udchalo? How many of you have heard about FredFox? So basically FredFox is his current startup, but then Udchalo was previous one. So Nitish, basically we would like to understand, you have gone through these journeys multiple times. How these government programs like Digital India, Startup India, Smart India hackathons and all of these things, how help startups? So any experience or probably any lights you want to put it on?
Sure, and thanks Mahavir first of all for inviting me. For me it is very different, and just to clarify, I'm not a techie. So although I'm running an enterprise tech platform right now, but I'm a mechanical engineer by education also and by my work also. A very interesting question which you asked, but before that I just tell you what we do, because being in front of developers, I always wanted to tell and say this is that where the code is impacting ultimately is very important. So how many of you know what's the per capita potato consumption in India? एक आदमी एक साल में कितना आलू खाता है इंडिया में? Approximately.
आलू का पता नहीं, but फ्रेंच फ्राइज तो बहुत खाते हैं.
हाँ, वो सब मिल जाएगा उसमें. आलू कितना खाता होगा? अंदाजा? कोई अंदाजा? साल का? 80 किलो? 10 किलो? Okay.
उतना तो फ्रेंच फ्राइज खाते हो.
Okay. The per capita annual consumption is 25 kgs, India, roughly. Okay. Onion is, any guesses? Huh? More than? More than potato? Not really.
Huh?
It is 16 kgs. Okay. So why I'm saying it is because it's not about us. It is not about Pune. But if you look at the monthly per capita consumption expenditure of India, and if you look at a average urban or a rural person, they spend anywhere between 450 to 650 rupees per month on this vegetable category which I am stating. So एक आदमी एक महीने में 2 किलो आलू खाएगा या 2.5 किलो खाएगा is the difference where we make an impact. Logistics is a very important element, very fundamental element, which comes into the play, and whatever technology we work upon is actually intended towards democratizing supply chains in order to deliver something very efficiently. That's what we work on. We work with enterprises on this domain and all. What, according to you and government policies, as you said, according to you, based on GMV, gross merchandise value, which would be the largest B2B commerce platform in India? Or forget B2B, include B2C also. Amazon? That was a fair guess. Flipkart? Sorry? Visa? Visa.
B2B commerce.
It's commerce, as in online platform, B2B, B2C, whatever it is. Sorry? Big basket.
Zepto.
How many of you have heard about GEM? GEM. See, because all of you are in technology and there is a lot of opportunity in government, just to share with you, the largest platform by GMV is government e-marketplace. It is GEM. The GMV is $22 billion right now, right? Flipkart is at $20 billion. Amazon is at $18 billion by GMV. These are very, very startling facts for you to understand that when you plan to disrupt a space or when you think about starting your venture, the government is a very important element into it. Here also, Mahavir, I would like to say that first, you asked me how it helps. I'll tell my story. We were the winners of National Logistics Hackathon organized by Niti Aayog. You can look for it. All of us know about UPI. I was attending Anand's presentation, very interesting. He's not here, but I understood about UEI also. There is a ULIP also. You have heard about it? Not the, not the one जिसमें पैसा बनता है, दूसरा वाला. It is Unified Logistics Interface Platform, right? So we were the first company to work very closely with Niti Aayog to build a lot of applications around it. It was part of the policy making and all. But first is know about the policies which are there. In the domain where you're operating, know what policies are there. Go to ministry's website. It is available, freely available information, right? Be aware of what are the various grants or competitive events or the policies which can help your cause, whether to get data from the government, whether to get the grants from the government, or work on something which we want to try it out, right? So understand what is there, then exploit it. Exploit as in government is very open. Out from the outside, it looks that the bureaucracy is still the same as it used to be about a decade back, but it's not the case. They are open for all the ideas. Even if you go and meet a joint secretary, want to present a 5-slide deck that I want to do this, they will hear you. People are there to hear you, right? There is a Startup India cell which is there, led by a joint secretary. You can approach anytime. You can approach DPIT secretary's office anytime to get whatever details you want, and they help very, very well actually, right? So no problem on that side. But just be clear where you want to work, what you want to work with, right? And this gives you a very good stage because when we got integrated with the government system, we got integrated with 30 ministries, in one shot because of ULIP, right? Today we can track any full truckload, part truckload, parcel, anything which leaves an enterprise with the same seamlessness, agnostic of any IoT device because of that framework which we are deploying, right? So these are the advantages which comes in when you work closely with government, and that is how you should look at leveraging the government policies and opportunities which are there.
Definitely. And do you think so is the only, so let's say Digital India or maybe Smart India, Startup India, so these are the only things which will help a startup ecosystem boom, or do you think there are other streams also, or probably other infrastructure related things also, which are probably lagging, or there is a kind of scope to improve?
So there are a lot of it actually, Mahavir, and I feel that Sampath Saral is a very amazing sarcastic poet who is very favorite. He says कि कितना भी digital हो जाए India, रोटी Google से download नहीं होगी, right? So ultimately there is a lot which is beyond digital also. And as you talk about infrastructure, what do you think, what would be the average speed of a truck in India?
20?
Very, very close guess. Yeah, it is anywhere between 15 to 25 kilometers per hour, right? Now with that speed, how that speed impacts us? कोई चलता है क्या? ट्रक धीरे चलने से आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? पड़ता है?
पुणे में ट्रैफिक जाम बहुत होता है.
काफी फर्क पड़ता है. See, when you look at a truck, don't look at a truck as a कि वो सामान भरा हुआ है उसमें. Look at नोटों की गड्डियाँ भरी हुई हैं because it's inventory, right? It has left the factory and it has not reached the consumption point. The speed at which we generate or manufacture products, and if it is not reaching the consumption point with the right speed, not the e-commerce, वो 10 मिनट वाला नहीं, वो तो मेरे पीछे रखा हुआ है, मैंने यहाँ पे रखा हुआ है, तो मैं 10 मिनट में पहुँचा दूंगा. Not that. The entire value chain, right? Because that cost is loaded to you. The inventory cost arbitrage in Indian economy is about 6 to 7%, right? The logistic cost arbitrage is about 6 to 7%. That makes us around 14 to 16%. This number varies, but that's the cost we are bearing. Infrastructure, as you said, after a truck used to do 3 trips between Mumbai and Nagpur earlier, when the Samruddhi Expressway was not there, now the same truck can do 5 trips. Now that itself reduces the cost of logistics by about 12%. So वो same आदमी जो मैं बोल रहा था, वो 2 किलो 20 ग्राम आलू तो खा सकता है, right? Correct. That's the impact which is there. So infrastructure is a very comprehensive problem which we need to look at. Digital is an enablement. Like how digital helped infrastructure is, पहले toll पे trucks का waiting time, average waiting time was about 20 to 25 minutes, which has reduced now to barely under 2 minutes or 3 minutes because of FASTag, because somebody developed that system. Now FASTag works with NETC, which is the same, I guess, the owner of UPI as well. So the FASTag system brought in that speed. Now every time we are saving time at every toll plaza. And do you know how many toll plazas India has? Usually if I say every 3 hours or 4 hours, every 60 kilometers on an average on national highway network, you will have 1 toll plaza, right? And national highway network is 3% of India's total road length, but controls 97% of freight traffic. Now that is the impact which digital brings in. When I can see my material, where it is traveling, with what speed it is traveling, it is transiting at a rapid pace, moving in, delivering and giving. So that is the infrastructure contribution along with digital, where we enable the common citizen and the businesses actually.
So it's going in hand in hand.
Yes, yes.
A lot of maybe deep insights with the numbers and the facts. Cool. So we will move to again Anupama. So Anupama, just would like to understand maybe your perspective, how women in IT or how women in entrepreneurship going on. So basically, how do you look at it? Basically, is it something growing? Is it something moderate? Or probably there is some need to educate, mentor women entrepreneurs? How do you see that? There is a need or not?
Yes, I see there is a perceptible change. Even in past 4 to 5 years, I can see more applicants for all the grants and all the challenges. And there has been, women has been there. The women have been there as in company, but as a sleeping partner, as a, if you take the record of MCA or, such records, if you see the data. But now the difference is they are in lead position. They are actually, they want to lead the organization. They have their own opinion, and they are very assertive about it. So this is something which has changed. Media has its role, encouragement of government policies, women-oriented funds, and, especially media coverage, her role is also very, very important. Because every day when you see you as a father or as a brother or as anybody, as a male member in the family, that some woman is doing good. So, the acceptance is high for if the girl says that she wants to go for some own business. And women have actually done very good, starting even from Biocon, if you see, NACA, not even in fashion and design, but otherwise also women have been coming up. And to be very honest, the unsung heroes, especially in rural sector, are women who have actually sometime I have noticed in Uttarakhand or in other, some part of villages, they have actually held the whole rural economy in their hand. So this is also an enterprise only, it should not always be visible in paper or something. If you're, affecting society, and the credibility score for women for bank loan is high. It says that they are more committed, in general. Bandhan Bank, especially if you can see, there are so many other examples. So women entrepreneurs are there coming up, And people are making space for them. The best thing is people are making space for them. We are being heard. So, and I appreciate that women have better, ethics, ethical sense, not, they have kind of, their brain process is different. So they are good at creativity, they are good at, imagination. I really want and I really appreciate if women come more in step also in science, technology, and those kind of areas. They are there, but still in IIT, during my PG days, I see there was only one girls' hostel and so many boys' hostels. So there must be more and more women. If government has to give some kind of reservation, I don't see any problem here because, representation should be there. So there's an immense scope, but there's a, rise is there, distinct rise is there, significant rise is there. There's a good thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe next question to Devyani. So Devyani, with respect to media industry particularly, a lot of government compliances are coming maybe towards sharing the PII data. So Digital Personal Data Protection Acts are coming. So how do you see basically towards this kind of action? Will it impact business or will it help to kind of reach to limited and curated audience and engage them with proper way, or probably it will completely destroy because you can't connect to a lot of people, you can't communicate with them? How do you see it?
I think it's a really good question and kind of need of the hour. And I'd like to break it down into three parts. There are multiple aspects to it. First is the one which you talked about, AI. Then the second one is how are we going to seek, data if there is no, like consent or that sort of situation happening. But I feel to do any business, it's always better to do it in an ethical way. And I kind of support the laws and the rules and regulations, because with the rise of AI, with the kind of incidents or the kind of cases we see these days, it's very important to protect data of the customers. Now, looking at the perspective of how the startups are going to grow in terms of getting in more databases of customers, there are a lot of other ways of doing it. Like Paula suggested about content creation or creating your brand identity on various platforms which are available for you. You can always have, customers connecting in a very authentic way where there's a consent from their end. So that's the way I look at it. And in terms of AI, I feel that while I'm working on multiple projects at my company also, I've seen that there happens a misuse of your voice, misuse of gathering data in wrong way, and then without any consent, it being used on social media. So that is also another perspective. So everything needs to stop and needs to be done in an ethical way, because with the rise of AI, these problems are going to increase. And I've seen the kind of risk which are coming with all of these things. So I kind of support this. And there are always different ways of looking at how we can create user-generated content, create data pools where you kind of integrate traditional media with digital media, and then have community integrations like these, and then get that data with consent. So that could be one of the ethical ways of doing it.
True. Real insights. So maybe we'll next move to Paula. So Paula, actually, so basically there is a study says that there is a slowdown in kind of entertainment industry. So how do you see at the downside of industry where, let's say, the platforms like OTT, even OTT, government is bringing a lot of compliances, and of course there is a need of our actually to bring some compliances, and even OTTs are dying. So how do you see where will these content creators will go if this burst happens?
I don't think governments are killing OTTs, but what has happened is in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of mergers and acquisitions happening in the OTT space. I don't know how many of you are following what happens in the entertainment business, but Jio has bought out Viacom, it's bought out Hotstar, it's bought out, Amazon has bought out MX Player. Sony and Z were going to merge, but then they didn't merge. The only one who is sort of standing still in this is Netflix. And what we've observed is, entertainment industry is not dying. It's OTT, which has had a slowdown in the last couple of years. That will come up again, but I think it was quite a shock for the entertainment industry what happened about 1 year ago when a lot of work was put on hold for a lot of people. There's a lot of out-of-work actors and people who were making a very good living for the last 5, 6, 7 years because of the boom that happened. Everyone was rushing, everyone was pouring money into content, and not all of that content worked. In fact, most of that content didn't work. And we had like 25 OTTs in India. Now, those who couldn't match up, those who were not doing well, they are getting bought out or they're going bankrupt and whatnot. And we're seeing a sort of normalization. But that normalization or like a bubble burst is ultimately in the long term a good thing for the industry. But what that's done for companies like Bhadipa, we've built our reputation in digital entertainment. We are the biggest Marathi web series producers in the industry. But with that, it's, with the slowdown, we've been forced to also look at all the other sides of our business where we have so many more opportunities to earn revenue. And when you're in entertainment, when you're in digital, it's always good to see how can you diversify your company revenue streams so that you can be stable regardless of market factors. Some of the things we've been doing over the years is building up our, direct from customer revenue, so merchandise, ticket sales for live events. Now we'll be going into films because that's where, we have a good audience, we have a digital marketing reach, which brands pay us for, but we are not using it ourselves to earn that much money directly from the audience. So why don't we sell tickets, for movies, rather than just giving everything for free on YouTube? So there's different ways that we can earn monies. And for a long time, brands and advertising and OTT platform services were the biggest ways. And it's been very interesting, and I see a lot of content creators. Those of you guys who are, you're from Pune, so a lot of you must know Danny Pandit. He's got his Danny Pandit show, which is a live performance, and I haven't seen it myself, but it's supposed to be fantastic. These kinds of innovations are coming from content creators and people in the digital space now because they're learning that we cannot just rely on numbers, we cannot rely on algorithms, we cannot rely on ad revenue. Because these things, they go up and down, and it's not in our control.
So basically, we are waiting for your movie, and maybe a 100 crore club would like to see you there.
Yes, me too.
Sure. So Vijay, currently you might have seen funding. Basically, in terms of funding, a lot of companies are struggling to get new funds. So basically, they are sometimes already funded, or probably they are trying to raise fund. But there is this winter of funding, basically it's affecting Indian startups specifically. So how do you look at that? Actually, a lot of companies are probably dying because they are unable to raise the next series of funds.
Definitely, those who are funding are not at fault, right? Because they'll fund the right things. So think of it like a market correction, right? So usually what happens, funding winters are more like market corrections, right? True. They don't go away. Or think of it like your investments, right? So as VCs also, what they'll do is they'll put money maybe more aggressively. So let's say they have a fund of 300 CR that they want to put this year. So initially they'll go more aggressive, right? And once they have exhausted 200 CR, then their next 100 CR is going to be more conservative in nature, right? They would want to put it so that they're not kind of losing on all the other 200 that they have put, right? So that's more from a VC or maybe a funder's mindset, right? I would talk more from a startup's mindset, right? You can take preventive measures, right, to not go into that hole, right? So let's say you see a kind of cliff and you're still driving at 180 and you want, I'll stop, you'll still go there, right? So if you see and if you predict that there is a hole or there's a cliff there, right, you need to slow down, right? You need to slow down your experiments. You need to slow down your unnecessary expenses. And you need to focus on what is driving a revenue for you, right? Because the money that will come in will help you survive, right? So sometimes what happens, we are like very passionate, no, we'll pass the bridge, right? And we'll still keep going at that pace, right? And then that happens. So it's better kind of acknowledge it, be very open with yourself, and then kind of see where do you want to cut down, right? Do you want to kind of cut down on your experiments, or do you want to, let's say, cut down on your marketing, wherever, right? It's okay to slow down, right? Because survival is more important than
100%.
yeah, right? So that is kind of there. And I would say that still, if you have a good product and if you are able to reach the right people, you'll still get funds, right? We got funds. The only thing is that you have to be more, you have to bring more proof, more conviction, right? That, okay, we can do it.
Number
right?
talks.
Yeah, number talk, exactly. So that's there. And I think we also got our funding during the time where there were not too many funds were happening, because we had numbers that were kind of supporting us, right?
Correct.
And then we were able to give them exit, right? And then became bootstrapped again. So never tried for Series A, but that is what I can talk in terms of pre-Series A and seed fundings that we have experienced. Yeah.
Great. So maybe moving forward, maybe following questions to that. So basically, when you kind of prepare a pitch, what are the things basically you should take care, and what are the mistakes usually founders do? So you have raised multiple times. So maybe at least 2 times you have raised in Udchalo plus in Fred Fox. So what things you should take care, and what are the mistakes basically usually founders do? What should avoid?
The biggest mistake usually is कि we love ourselves a lot. So शोले मूवी में जय और वीरू सबको पसंद है, तो ऑब्वियसली हम भी सबको पसंद आते हैं, बट वो पसंद क्यों है? क्योंकि वहाँ पे एक रामगढ़ है, वहाँ पे एक गब्बर सिंह है, and that is why जय वीरू exist. So what happens is कि in the eventuality of when we are preparing a pitch deck or when we are preparing our story, we tend to take eye off. So we are very passionate about की technology से ये. So AI, like for example, everybody is talking AI, but what are you going to solve with the AI? So AI तो जय और वीरू है, तो मेरे को बहुत पसंद है, पर उसका गब्बर सिंह और रामगढ़ भी तो ढूंढना पड़ेगा.
True.
नहीं तो कहानी शोले नहीं बनेगी. So ultimately, if you have to make it, then we need to combine all these aspects together. So one is that usually, and there is our own philosophy. So our philosophy has been very clear that we build both the sides. If you see, we have built very core businesses actually, very very solid foundational problems which we are solving. Now this can be solved by C++, Java, AI. I don't care as long as it is augmenting in that way actually, right? So we need to be very structured in the way that what problem statement we are going to look at, and why that problem statement is substantial to be solved actually, and we should be passionate about it. Otherwise, I won't be able to talk about it, right? See, where talking about logistics, a lot of English can be told, but then what I was trying to tell the audience is that it is very fundamental in nature, right? ₹1 का गेहूं, ₹1 का चावल और ₹2 का गेहूं per kg गवर्नमेंट नहीं दे सकती है अंडर फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट if logistics is not sorted. Possible nahi hai. Right, so the problem statement need to be very, very clear. You should be very passionate about it, and then you build the pitch deck around it. Obviously, there will be a essence of what wave is going on, as Vijay also mentioned that VCs will look for that wave, that okay, are you doing something around it? So, एक टाइम पे VR, AR बहुत बड़ा वेव था, I remember, and now I don't see it anywhere. It was supposed to change the world, but I don't know how much it has changed. Then machine learning came, then deep tech. All these terms, by the way, are coined by VCs mostly, right? Then deep tech, and now we are talking about AI. I'm hopeful that, okay, at least this time we will make the dent in the right place. So those things should be sorted. Don't talk about, see, I know we are passionate about technology and we are passionate about ourselves. We love ourselves, but talk about the problem. What is the problem we are approaching? Why this problem is substantial? And why this problem is worth solving for both ourselves, our stakeholders, as well as the general ecosystem we are surviving in. So that's the essence which is there. Baki, the sequence of pitch deck you can find on Google easily.
Of course. So respecting our time actually, will not take further more questions. So just before closing and getting the questions from audience, one last advice we would like to take from all of you ladies for our women participants, basically, what should they look at it if they are into tech or even maybe entrepreneurship, or so what's some motivational thing you would like to talk about? Maybe what inspires you, what motivates you to continue your journey? Maybe something for our female audience.
I have a very inspired statement, keep walking. Just identify a problem, especially about which you are passionate, but passion won't lead you to the end. So whenever you have doubt, think why you have started and just keep moving. One day you will be at high, another day you will be at lowest. But if you see, where you have reached in a month, in 6 months, there is a there will be substantial development. Just do it, and there is nothing you can do. You are in that kind of fast lane. You have to keep doing it, and focus on building a genuine team. Team is best. Team is something which can always help you to pull if you are in your dark phase, and be ethical. That's it. Thank you very much.
That was amazing. Since the beginning, what I've followed and what I inculcate in my team is that I usually follow this one statement that has stayed with me since like forever. It's like build a longer table than building a higher fence. Because when you build a longer table, you create a nature for collaboration. I also believe that the second thing which you should focus as a woman or, like a man is that you need to learn from your own mistakes and never give up on your own passion and what you started in the beginning, because there will be journeys where you'll feel like giving up, but just focus on the feedbacks, the mistakes, and what you are trying to learn from each and every experience. That's going to help you move forward, because until there's no failure, there's no rise. So believe in yourself until you've achieved what you truly believe in.
I'm always a little stumped when I'm asked a question like this because, exactly the advice which is given applies to all genders, but it's 100% I agree with everything you've said. The teamwork is, finding the right people and staying close and keeping those people close to you is really essential. Secondly, specifically as a woman, the one thing which I have learned is no matter what you say, how you say it, there's going to be some people who are intimidated by you. You just have to let them be in their corner and you keep moving. Exactly, keep walking. Same advice. Just do your thing and don't put up with any shit. And if you get it, then there are systems in place. There are support systems out there. There's prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace. If you have more than 10 employees or you are in a company with more than 10 employees, you need to have a committee of people who are there to deal with cases and, know your rights and stick up for yourself and support other women who might be facing something and don't know where to go.
Cool. Thanks. Any questions from audience? Very specifically, maybe we'll take 2 or 3. And at least one question from female audience.
Hello everyone. So recently we have seen many startups that have came up in India, but we have seen many cases where in chase for revenue, those have shut down. So how do you guys understand, are you going too fast for revenue and not looking out for profits? It's a general question.
Yeah, okay. So, but the simple answer is that not only that, you would have seen a lot worse actually, which you're probably not saying, but yeah. So this happens usually when we love the product and not the customer. What's the start point actually, right? And all of us love our product. I'll just keep it short. So when we love the customer, right? And I'll give example because when I and Mahavir has a common when I started the concept, it was a 5 slides on the deck which I presented to the supply chain director of Bridgestone. And I said that with this, if you give me 2 lakh rupees advance and purchase order, and later on sharing, I will go ahead and build this single page product. That's how we started, right? So be very cautious about that. You don't just keep on pumping money because it is available to build the product and keep loving it, but the customers are not giving you revenue for that. Until it will either close, or then you will hunt for revenue from other means, which is again, as ma'am said, that it has to be very ethical, where the boundaries start to diminish and the problem starts to begin.
Cool. We would like to have at least one question from female audience.
Hello, my name is Pranav. I want one of your lowest point, like it is my lowest point and this is my highest point, like you felt like you were successful or something at that point, one from male and one from female. If after your 20s, not in schools, after your 20s in college or in entrepreneurial life, what was your lowest and the highest point? And if you felt successful or not?
I think everybody's lowest point probably would be personal, right? I'll talk from a business point of view then.
Okay.
Of course.
So I think for us, it was a regulatory change. So we were very heavy on building on top of Aadhaar, right? So Aadhaar came into the ecosystem. We knew it's powerful, and we started building products that can take that power and solve a lot of use cases. So we started building kind of a platform on top of it, right? And then there were some leakages that happened. A lot of them were actually from government sources, government companies, right? And suddenly it all went down where Supreme Court said that you cannot provide these Aadhaar services to private companies. So we were having 200 close to customers, 100 live, around 25 to 30 lakh kind of revenue going on like steadily growing revenue, and it all became zero next day.
Oh.
Because most of our customers were
B2B.
private companies, right? So learn few things. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, definitely. And second, I think one thing we knew was that the problem is still there, right? Maybe the means to solve that problem went. So people still want digital onboarding. And we stuck to that, and today we are 500 customers again, so yeah.
Anybody from ladies? He asked.
Sure. So for us, it's easier to find a low point than it is to find a high point, because there have been so many wonderful high points. The highest point I can immediately remember, where I was so overwhelmed and started crying, was after Bharipa had turned 3 and we had one of our largest live events where we called audience for our 3-year anniversary, and we had, it was one of, now in terms of scale, it's a small show of 350 people. But without any planning, we had finished our show, audience was clapping, and we called everybody from the team on stage to say thank you. And the audience started singing Happy Birthday to Bharipa. And all, like 350 people singing for us, we were like extremely overwhelmed. And that was a really beautiful moment, just to kind of understand that we had, you know, when you're behind a screen and you have sort of these parasocial relationships with your fans, you don't sometimes realize how much your work or your product touches people's lives. And so that was definitely a really high point. And a low point for us, which is, you know, a good lesson, I think, for any entrepreneur, is after the first lockdown of COVID, we had kept our entire company employed throughout all of that process, and we're making content throughout lockdown, which benefited our business in many ways. But, you know, we didn't do any salary cuts for our team or anything. But after 6 months and offices opened up, people started going to work again, we had about 40% of our workforce resign. And that was extremely disheartening, because we felt like, you know, oh, we're a family, we're doing everything for our team, but sometimes, after COVID, I think there was a huge, what they called the great wave of resignation. Because after being at home for 6, 7 months, people started questioning, what am I doing with my life? Do I want to do this forever? And it took a lot for us as founders to step back and not take it personally and say that, you know what, these are people on their own professional journey. We are a step along the way, and I'm glad that they were with us for this time. But yeah, every time somebody leaves, it's extremely painful, and you get used to it, unfortunately. But
That's
yeah, it's something that you should start to brace yourself for. As soon as you start hiring, be ready, because eventually they're going to move on.
So with that, if we don't have any female, yeah, sure, please.
So I have a question for everyone. Like currently, if you want to start for new business, so which new domains or the industry you guys are looking for?
Maybe you can answer. You said all of, so I answered.
A lot of it actually, but depends on your interest particularly. There is a lot of emerging space, especially towards sustainability. Look at that. It is an emerging phenomena right now for India. If you know about something called as CBAM, which is European Union is coming up with, Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, India is going to have impact internally as well as externally to anywhere between 1 to 1.5% of GDP because of sustainability, which is going to happen. So that's one subject. There is a lot into it. You can go and dive into it. You can look at the EV space, which is struggling right now for 100 things. EV supply chains are one of the major problems right now. You can look at that also as one of the things which is there. Then the Kirana stores, which are under pressure because of quick commerce, they need a relief. You have the options to go there and develop something, do something there. And there are many more actually. We can go on and on, but find your interest and then start building on it with the fundamental problem, as I said.
So we have taken your entire day today, and thanks for coming here, spending time with us. Hope you have enjoyed and learned a lot of things. Made new networks? Good. It was good day? Cool. So thanks to all of you, and definitely they will be there for some time, but make sure you don't trouble them a lot. So ask limited questions. They are already kind of overwhelmed with the questions from my side. Thank you.